This video is part of a series of tutorials on strength training concepts and is brought to you by Edgerton's Garage Gym. Velocity-based training. Before we get into the details of this presentation, it's worth noting that a lot of the information that follows comes from this paper that you can view here. So the paper is found in the Strength and Conditioning Journal, and I will put the full reference to the paper in the description of the video as well. Anyway, velocity-based training is a method that uses velocity to inform or to enhance training practice. At a basic level, visual or verbal feedback can be given to athletes to enhance performance and to improve motivation. But then at a more technical level, technology can be used to provide data on lifting performance, with the two most commonly used variables being mean velocity, which is the average velocity across the entire concentric phase of a lift, and then also the peak velocity, which is achieved at any given moment during the concentric phase of a lift. Now, these measures of velocity can be used to estimate one repetition maximum, or 1RM. General load-velocity relationships have been proposed so that if an athlete achieves a certain velocity at a given sub-maximal load, we can estimate 1RM from this data. This should represent a safer and more time-efficient method of assessing strength levels compared to traditional 1RM testing. As a word of caution, though, the relationship between the velocity recorded at a submaximal load and the 1RM may vary depending on a number of factors such as the exercise being used, the technique being used for a given exercise, or even gender. However, it is certainly an area of interest that may well become increasingly useful as the body of research in this area grows. Additionally, a useful workaround for these limitations in the meantime would be to develop individual load-velocity relationships for specific athletes. This might involve measuring velocity for around 5 different submaximal loads and then modelling the load-velocity relationship through a linear regression in order to estimate 1RM. Now, clearly this does take away some of the time efficiency previously attributed to velocity-based testing, but it is an option to consider that should yield a high degree of accuracy. An additional use for velocity-based training is in the management of fatigue using relative velocity loss thresholds. So traditionally, coaches might prescribe a fixed number of repetitions at a certain percentage of 1RM. However, the reality is that there is a wide variety between athletes in terms of how many repetitions can be achieved at any given percentage of 1RM. And so this approach is going to leave some lifters being overworked and other lifters being underworked. But by ending a set when the loss of bar velocity exceeds a certain threshold, we may be able to manage workload more appropriately. If you found the information in this tutorial useful, please like the video. And for more information on sports science and strength and conditioning, please subscribe to Edgerton's Garage Gym.